some of the things that were going wrong, high level of insecurity, challenges with education, infrastructure, power. We came together and we're having lunch on the 13th of May, a global launch, to see how we can rebuild Nigeria through dialogue, through the search for peace, through discussion, through engagement with as many people as possible who are interested in Nigeria, through policy formulation, and through information and letting people know exactly what is going on in Nigeria, and seeing how we can advise government, both incoming government and present government, and citizenry as to what we need to do to make sure we all have a better Nigeria. And it's consisting of Nigerians, both in Nigeria, in the diaspora, very, very important, because we're very, very keen to see what we can do. And also friends of Nigeria, people we call friends of Nigeria, non-Nigerians that are interested in Nigeria, have a stake in Nigeria, being part of Nigeria, and want Nigeria really to be as great as it should be. So we expect to have a series of engagements, a series of dialogues, a series of position papers, advisory notes, and a series of activities that we need to do to bring this nation together.
I was just going to ask quickly before I go to Jumoke that are you hoping to cascade this dialogue to the grassroots? Because we understand when we speak to ourselves, but it's not just only about us. It's also about every Nigerian in every and at every level.
It's very, very important because likely most of the time we speak over the top of the people at the grassroots, and politically and socially, the grassroots is the backbone of Nigeria. So we're going to engage our grassroots people. We're going to inform them at various levels, those educated and those not sufficiently educated, and even those who are not educated at all.
Right. Bridges will be tracking that, and we promise that we'll be part of it. Now I'll go over to the US, and Jumoke is waiting. Now, the question is, what is different that Rebuild Nigeria initiative is going to bring to the table? What is it that we haven't spoken to that is new, is fresh, is innovative, is captivating? Every one of us would want to.
What Pastor has said, it's different because we're more of a movement. And we're refusing to be spectators in good governance and active participants. So as you mentioned, I'm away. Fatima is in Abuja, Pastor is in Lagos. And so it's a group of us that just came together and said, you know what? We have to do something. This is not the time to point fingers at government, but this is the time for us to take individual responsibility and how we can contribute to nation building. So that's what Rebuild Nigeria is it's about, like everyday Nigerians really getting up to say, this is my role, this is what I can do towards the good of Nigeria. We can't keep pointing fingers at government or the leadership. We have that responsibility, and that's part of what we're trying to drive.
I'd just like to quote you. In 2006, I gathered you coined the phrase, "I am Nigeria. The change begins with me." So you're bringing to the table is premised on this, right?
Yes. As an individual, and that phrase came out from, we were having a conversation and everyone again was pointing at the government, pointing at everything that is wrong. And at that point, I said, we all have individual responsibility towards this. As a Nigerian, no one has the autonomy on leadership. We all have that responsibility, moral and social responsibility towards contributing to Nigeria. And how do you effect that change? It starts with you. It starts with what you can do within your own sphere of influence as an individual citizen. And if you look at the history of Nigeria, people got up because they were tired. If you look at the fathers of independence, they stood for Nigeria. And that's that's part of the message that we're promoting, that stand for Nigeria. Don't give up on Nigeria. I'm here in the US. We're reminded that your citizenship outside your birth country is a privilege that can be withdrawn at any time. That's the truth of the matter. No matter how long you've been a US citizen, if at some point someone or wherever you are and someone decides there's a law that is changed or God forbid, you commit some kind of crime, that is withdrawn. But my birthright cannot be withdrawn from my country of birth.
Yes, home is home, right? Wherever you are, no matter the comfort, no matter what you see there, is still home that you long to come to. Thank you, Jumoke, for that contribution. I'll now go to Fatima Akilu, who is sitting here with me on set. Now, Fatima, you've worked in conflicts across northern Nigeria, what we are witnessing today, that we never thought, I never thought this would come. So here we are. What have you seen on the field, and how can the values on which RNI is working can shift the paradigm from where we are now?
Well, I think the reason that I joined RNI, and I'm proud to be a member of RNI, is precisely because of the things that I've seen. I work across practically all of northern Nigeria and the Lake Chad, and these are places that 10 years ago, even 7 years ago, and in some cases 5 years ago, that there was no conflict. So what went wrong, and why did we not foresee that this could happen? These things did not happen in a vacuum. We live in areas where there is no government presence. Youth are highly marginalized. Access to education is very limited for the vast majority of our population. Access to health, access to even the ability to self-actualize, to have a pathway to development. These are all things that are shut from people. So I think that we cannot continue like this. My own why RNI is different, in my opinion, is because it brings together a diverse group, and we're represented from practically almost every part of Nigeria. But beyond that, we bring a whole load of different capabilities. For example, one of the things that we want to do, a lot of people are doing dialogue. So we're not unique in trying to do dialogue at the grassroots, but I think we're approaching it in a different way. We're not just doing dialogue for dialogue's sake. It's all hinged around research. So we're also looking at the causes of these conflicts, and the dialogues that we're proposing are not only but intra-group dialogue. So I think within groups, there's also conflict, which we're trying to understand, but across groups, there's conflict. We feel that dialogue is only one of the activities of RNI, but it's a central pillar. We feel that if we can really talk to ourselves and not talk to ourselves from the top. I work at the grassroots, so I'm in the villages.
Too. I'm in the villages myself.
Absolutely. So I listen to people, and we in RNI, we also want to listen, not to hear, but to listen to understand. Because a lot of time people just listen to hear. But when we understand collectively, we can come up with a pathway. So I think that's part of the things that we're trying to do.
Yeah, and that excites me. Speaking, talking to each other, and being able to have a secured pathway that can engender the Nigeria that we want. Now, one thing that, each time we speak to people is that, we don't trust the government. And so we, like Jumoke said, we hinge everything on government. Is not well, and other people's thoughts are that it's not about government alone, our own responsibility. Pastor, I'll come back to you again, because you are there in the private world in terms of private business, and also, having the grace to shepherd people. Now, how are we going to bring this together? Because what we have and what people have said we have is a systems failure. Not just in terms of what, government brings to the table, but what we are as people do. I would just like your thoughts on this going forward, because we need to get this right as a foundation, so that our RNI initiatives can work. Pastor, over to you.
One of the biggest challenges of Nigeria that people sometimes disregard is the level of lack of information and understanding and education of the average Nigerian. And until you can uplift people generally in terms of their capacity to think, you'll almost be knocking your head against a brick wall. Okay, so nations that have made progress on the back of improved and sustainable and stronger knowledge and information of the people on the average. That's what China had to do. That's what Japan did. That's what Singapore did. And that's what India is trying to do. And of course, Rwanda, nearer home in Africa. And what has happened over time is a systematic and weaponized illiteracy of the people. So what we're going to be trying to do is to, through our engagement, further broaden the minds of the people and let them understand what the situation is, what they need to do, and how they can lift themselves up and lift Nigeria up. Aside from that, a better informed people generally make better leaders in the long run. So a leader is good when he has the appropriate knowledge, the necessary background, the necessary training and information, and the appropriate attitude to governance. Even in the Bible, and I quote from the Bible from time to time, a lot of people were aspiring to leadership among the disciples of Jesus Christ. And Jesus says you aspire to leadership because you don't understand the fundamentals of leadership. Leadership is not about being served. It's about serving and being a servant. If you understand that leadership is about being a servant, then you would have a different attitude towards that aspiration. In Sweden, for example, if you're a member of the house, your salary is very small. You are not accommodated except you come from outside the capital. You are not given a motor vehicle. You don't have any personal staff. You are very frugal with your money and with government money. And wherever you are accommodated, you are not allowed to receive visitors except you pay for them in that accommodation. So anyone who wants to go into the parliament in Sweden is going to serve.
And what I really, really like and would like to emphasize is that leadership is service. And I wish we could come back to you to give the Sweden example. We want that on, I think, is something that should resonate in us, especially as we look forward to 2023. I'll come back to you, Jumoke. Leadership is service. Now, how do we bring that home across board? Not just in terms of people who are in positions of authority, but then again, as Jumoke, as Moji, as Fati, as pastor.
It starts within your own sphere of influence. What are you doing in your home? What are you doing in your neighborhood? Leadership is not necessarily that you are in government. You're in leadership in any role that you're in. You're the leader of your home, in your community. And you can, as Pastor was saying, it's service. How do you serve your community to make it better? What can you do? We've heard so many stories of different people that have just gotten up because there was a need in their community. And they saw that need and they served that need. And that's part of what it is. That's part of what leadership is. Identifying the needs to make your community, to make the world. We are all called to serve, even whatever religion you are in. That's part of the responsibility you have. Your gifts are for service, is to impact the world, to make it a better place. So that's part of what we want to just harness and bring up to people's consciousness.
Yes, Fati, and you have been at the troubled areas, met the troubled people. And how do you say to a traumatized mind that leadership is service?
Well, it's a good question. I think, like Jumoke says, leadership really is about character. It's about who you are. It's about humility. I think sometimes we mistake leadership for position. But leadership is not position. It's an attitude. It's about who you are as a person. And even in the most traumatized communities, I have seen leadership. I've seen women who helping other women give birth because they have no access to hospitals. I've seen people organize and share food within communities. These are people who have nothing. So I really think about leadership as an office, as a position. I think it's more about a perspective, how you view the world, what you want to add to the world. And it's about humility, the ability to see a problem and want to solve it. So that's, I think, how I see leadership.
Yes, as our final word before we close this chapter of the discussion, I do pray technology will help us. Pastor, what are your final thoughts? Because we are in a place where Nigerians believe that government must do everything. And so the dependency on, on governance is huge. How do we start, rebirthing the thought to see that leadership is service? Your final word, sir.
Well, it's a series of conversations and dialogues and bringing about examples to people and proving to people that it can be done. What the missing piece or what has been missing in Nigeria is a set of people who are ready to take responsibility instead of pointing fingers at the government or at environment or at history. And this is what RNI wants to do that may be a little bit different. We want to take responsibility. We want to partner with government where possible. We want to go ahead of government where necessary. And we want to chastise government or criticize them where appropriate. Okay, so it's a full cycle. For no person or the other, we just want a good environment and a good governance and a good place for Nigeria and for Nigerians. So we are going to take responsibility. We are going to go out there, speak to people, engage them, dialogue with them, where necessary, support them, where necessary, encourage them, where necessary, invest in them, and where appropriate, empower them so that they can see better Nigeria and better themselves and see hope. We're hoping that if we spread this light and we light these candles, more people will join us to light more candles, and eventually the whole place would have light, and Nigeria would begin to make progress, and people will begin to have better demands of their leaders and better leadership selection processes, and insist on doing things the appropriate way. It might be a long journey, but we're prepared to start that journey and to keep working with it, working at it, working on it until it works. And that's really what builds.
Keeping on. Jumoke?
For me, I would say the unity, really unifying as Nigerians, coming together, knowing that this is not a solo journey. This is not something that one particular group can do alone. There is that need for us to collaborate, to partner. There is room for everyone to get together. And that's part of what we're also promoting. We have sister organizations. We're reaching out to as many like-minded Nigerians that are committed to this beautiful country called Nigeria. And that's part of our message. It's partnership, it's collaboration, it's coming together and, starting this movement for change.
Starting the movement for change. I like that. Yes.
Okay, let me end where we began with Jumoke's slogan, change begins with me. I truly believe that RNI is looking to develop a new kind of citizenry where we actually look at ourselves and say, well, yes, we can be the change. Government cannot do it alone. We have to take responsibility. We have to also, we're always looking to the type of government we want, but have we looked at the type of citizens we want?
I think that's very important, and that's where a lot of times we lose it. The kind of citizens we want, the kind of followership that we want, the kind of people that we want. Growing up for me, I have lived, well, in every part of Nigeria, so to speak. My father worked with the railways. It didn't matter where you came from. What mattered was that railway family, that big family that brought everyone together, that we danced Ojuju, Calabar at Christmas. We ate the salami together. And we also, especially now that it's Ramadan, we wait for 6 o'clock when we can all have the kunu and the kose together. And I know that in Lagos, same thing happened. So that's the uniqueness of Nigerian, and that's the bridge we have attempted to build today. I want to thank you for watching and knowing that you also can be part of the Rebuild Nigeria initiative. Is a collective responsibility. So let's build a better world in Nigeria for Nigerians by Nigerians. We'll be back again same time next week. Thanks for watching. Pastor, thank you for pastoring us. Jumoke, go have your beauty sleep now and keep on keeping. And for you, Fati, we're together all the time. So see you. And when RNI comes to Abuja, be part of it. We'll be back again on Bridges, same time next week.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative, and interactive on national issues, accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
Naysayers have recently ramped up their criticism of the Buhari administration for borrowing. These critics are very insincere. We do not borrow for recurrent expenditure, neither do we borrow to pay salaries. We are borrowing to build world-class infrastructure that will benefit generations of Nigerians. And we have a lot to show for the loans we have taken. Today, the standard gauge rail line between Lagos and Ibadan are running very well. Today, we have new airport terminals in Abuja, in Kano, in Lagos and Port Harcourt. Today, the Itakpe-Warri rail line that was abandoned for decades is now running. Today, we have well over 13,000 kilometers of federal roads under repair, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. There's a road project in every state today. Today, we have started the countdown to when the second Niger Bridge, which successive administrations have built only on paper, will be completed. The list of projects we're handling with the loans we obtained is long.
Extramarital affairs are talked about only in hushed tones in our society. Adultery obviously is frowned upon. However, not many realize that it won't just have an effect on social reputation, but will also impact one mentally and physically. Extramarital affairs can be taxing, and managing mental health in this circumstance can be daunting. Join us as we close the conversation on this topic this Wednesday at 9 a.m. only on NTA Network.
This is the network service of the NTA.
President Muhammadu Buhari was in Madrid, Spain, for a 3-day high-level meeting with King Felipe VI of Spain. While there, President Buhari had audience with a cross-section of Nigerians in Spain, especially some professional footballers. It was indeed a meeting with excitement and banter with Mr. President. I'll bring you the details soon. And the president of the Nigerians in Diaspora organization, NIDO Poland, Dr. Omotade Omotosho, says investing in Nigeria is a double-digit profit margin with return on investment. And that's not all. A Nigerian-American nurse, president and founder, Nelly Onyiyechi Okempu Foundation, has given back to her community in the spirit of volunteerism and charity. And do not forget our diasporan of the moment. Please stay with your favorite program, The Diaspora, and I am Koinsola Adetunbi, your host. The chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Dr. Abike Dabiri Erewa, facilitated the town hall meeting where President Muhammadu Buhari addressed some Nigerians in Madrid, Spain. Please take a listen.
I'm delighted to be meeting with a cross-section of Nigerians living in Spain. Many of you are here for different reasons, some for a fulfilling career in sports, especially in football, from where you earn respectable incomes to sustain yourselves as well as maintain your extended families in Nigeria, including investments back at home. Some of you are engaged in other businesses that have enhanced your socio-economic status, both here and at home. More importantly, through your commitment to your various callings, you have enhanced the name and image of our country, thereby earning Nigeria's respect in Spain. I have also been informed of how law-avoiding you are here in Spain. I wish to encourage you to continue to be more models for our youth back at home, as well as sustaining the image of being excellent ambassadors of Nigeria in Spain and live peacefully in the various communities in which you reside here in Spain. As I have always done, whenever I'm abroad, I wish to reassure all of you in Spain of the determination of the federal government of Nigeria to continue to remain engaged with our compatriots in the diaspora for more purposeful partnership that impact our country and people. It is in the quest for actualizing this objective that I established the Diaspora Commission to give focus to the management of this partnership that leads to a win-win situation for Nigeria at home and abroad. I believe that you are aware of how important your character, conduct, and comportment in your daily activities define your roles as ambassadors and image promoters of Nigeria abroad. Ambassador, you are not the only one ambassador. As you perform this responsibility for Nigeria abroad, I encourage you to embrace purposeful investment back home. Such investment can be financial or through your talents and skills, which can help mold and develop your skills back at home. On the part of the federal government, Nigeria will continue to aggressively protect and defend the interests of all Nigerians abroad, especially the law-abiding compatriots. Despite our numerous challenges at home, such as the containment of terrorist activities and other forms of threats to our national security, as well as the devastating impact of the coronavirus pandemic, our government continues to work assiduously to tackle challenges of infrastructural development, power, water, transportation, housing, etc., with a view to creating the enabling environment for our collective prosperity. Our unity in diversity has always been our strength. I therefore call on all Nigerians, including those of you in diaspora, to join hands with us in building the Nigeria we desperately want. May I also let you know that presently we have started the process leading to our national election in 2023. Our government is working tirelessly to ensure that the Independent National Electoral Commission delivers credible, free, and fair elections and a smooth transition to the next democratic government.
I want to thank you in a special way, sir, for everything you have done for Nigerian communities living abroad by setting up a Diaspora Commission. And this Diaspora Commission has been pivotal in taking care of the needs of Nigerians abroad, which Spain is among them. So here, we have a thriving Nigerian community here. The Nigerian community here has been growing every year because of the opportunity that Spain offers to many of us. I've lived here over 15 years, and I can attest to the fact that Nigerian community here is a very strong community. We are doing our very best to make sure that we represent Nigerians well by projecting the good image of Nigeria and avoiding anything that will tarnish the image of Nigeria. We have a very dynamic Nigerian community here that are thriving and doing all our best to make sure that we do the things we needed to do so that at the end of the day, we will succeed in all our endeavors. So please, sir, once more, I don't want to go too much because I'm not giving a lot of time to go into the details of the things we need from the government. Although later, I will, through the ambassador, make some presentation to the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs on the things that are very dear to Nigerians and the things that Nigerians need, because we have a lot of things that we want to present to the government so that they will look into it and know how they can be able to give us a helping hand in making sure that Nigerians here are well taken care of. So we've been working in a very harmonious way with the mission, the embassy here.
We have 80,000 documented Nigerians in Spain, and the footballers are very thriving. We have about 19 footballers, Nigerian footballers, and I'm sure, Mr. President, you know about Aziza, who plays for Barcelona. She's one of the leaders in football in this country, and it's well appreciated. But I hope one day a Nigerian like Kenneth will be playing for Real Madrid, which is my team. So, Mr. President, without taking so much of your time, the Nigerians here appreciate your concern. And I, as the head of mission, through the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, I'm driving it within the limits of power and rule of law without compromising anything that may be an infraction. Because I realize that as a leader, you must lead by examples. And that's a leadership style that I've been able to express all the time. Thank you very much, sir.
That's why I give policy so that you can own your own homes directly rather than going before. A lot of things are before the diaspora under your leadership, sir. At this stage, I want to call on Kenneth, who has a presentation to make to Mr. President.
On behalf of my colleagues and also the Super Eagles, which I'm a member of Philanthropy for that's why you made up time to speak with us, and also you were there in the stadium in Abuja.
Thank you very much. I have got a prepared speech which I will read, but for this presentation, which I did not expect, I thank you very much for it. When I was in school, 9 years of boarding school, I took to hockey instead of football. I felt safe. I was hockey. I have a stick. I keep the distance, but I was too late to be contacting people, so I put football out. Thank you.
President met with the diaspora community, and Spain is particularly peculiar because we have quite a lot of professional football players here, 19 male and 7 female, and a few of them were able to be here. And the good thing is they all, the passion, the commitment about their country, and with a commission in place to structure diaspora engagements, I think it's been a very good meeting, and we continue to engage with the diaspora. As the president always says, they are our #1 ambassador, so it's important to meet with them, engage with them, and there are many programs that they need to key into, programs specifically for the diaspora. So it was a very fruitful engagement. Ours is to follow up and ensure that those engagements turn to positive productivity for our country, Nigeria. Everywhere he goes, he welcomes Nigerians, and it's always a very down-to-earth and very, very natural engagement. And beyond telling us that he actually recognized Mary because of his haircut, he also made us realize that I used to play hockey in school. So, and they were also very excited knowing that Mr. President, is quite in touch with a whole lot of things and what they are doing. And the key thing is, he's following what everybody is doing and ensuring that we also engage with them and ensure that they're carried on along with the programs and policies of the federal government. I think that's just the key thing.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that engagement. Dr. Omotade Omotosho is the president of the Nigerians in Diaspora organization, Poland. My producer, Mr. Gabriel Odu, engaged him on how he is projecting the image of Nigeria abroad. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Diaspora. Can we meet you, sir?
Okay, I'm from Kwara State, in a small village called Idofin Odoaga, Okero local government of Kwara State.
Yes. You left home, Nigeria. When and where did you go to? And what are you doing in your sojourn country?
Yep. Interesting question. I left Nigeria in 2006-7, precisely 7. Yes, and I relocated to Poland. I went for the purpose of studies for education. Yeah, I studied professional communication in marketing and business.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and then I proceeded to do my PhD in business administration, focusing on entrepreneurship and innovation.
As president or chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora organization, NIDO Poland, what are the impacts or what are the parameters to ensure that Nigerians in Poland are united and work for a common good?
Well, so as chairman, as you know, the goal of generally any diaspora organization is to be able to bring diasporans together. So in this context, Nigerians together. First and foremost, for us to be able to work together as one. Of course, I don't want to use the word rebrand the image of Nigeria, but of course, to project, I would say, to project how beautiful, how great, and how wonderful Nigeria is. So we want to come together first as a community, as one Nigeria, okay, and represent our beloved country. That's our first goal. And then we talk about, how to attract business to Nigeria, right? We talk about how to also link businesses at home, to Europe, as it were, depending on the location, right? So these are among some of the things we do. And of course, we do quite a lot of events that helps to also, showcase what we have in Nigeria. For example, we talk about culture, talk about history, So these are amongst others, some of the things we do. But more importantly, we want people to come together, because the longer you live in a country that is not yours, the likely you are to probably forget about, the culture and the heritage of that country. So some of the things we do has to do with making sure that we remind ourselves of the fact that we are Nigerian.
What other thing you're doing, thinking home, thinking towards foreign direct investment back home to Nigeria?
We're encouraging professionals like myself and some other people to see how they can deploy their knowledge and experience. Now we talk about transfer of knowledge and skills. And as we all know, as a diasporan, you don't necessarily have to relocate completely. You can transfer knowledge. You can transfer expertise. You can transfer experience. We live in a knowledge economy. They say if I have one idea and you have one idea and we put those ideas together, it becomes two different ideas. So we live in a knowledge economy, and as diasporas, one of the things my office is doing is we're encouraging our people to, to see what they can do in terms of, knowledge transfer.
Thank you for being a good ambassador. And now let's join Boya Linko for some messages.
Not so fast. I'm tired. I don't want to take out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down.
Do you have a job where you're going to? No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Aliko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
If you must travel, travel legitimately. Now, a Nigerian American registered nurse visited her community and carried out an empowerment project. Enjoy.
I'm from Umukabi, Umabom, Umuahia, Abia State, Nigeria. I grew up in Abia State, both elementary school and secondary school. And after my secondary school, I traveled to the United States of America. That's where I started my education. Then in doing that, I'm into nursing job, and I want to give back to my community. I decided to set up an NGO. I've been helping people in my community for over 15 years. Then I said, one day, let me start empowering people in my village, then in Umuahia town. But it's not only in my community. This NGO I started is going to go to whole Nigeria. I'm praying to God to give me the opportunity to work hard and extend it to the whole Nigeria.
The president always tell diasporans, if you go out of Nigeria, be the best in what you do.
Yes.
Be a good ambassador.
Yes.
Excel, and always think home.
Yes.
Right. Now you're thinking home. That means you have been embarking on medical missions back home.
Yes.
Right.
Can
you tell us more on the medical missions?
Medical mission home is I plan to. This is my plan. Not only giving out to my community by helping empowering people get a job, I empower them with a tricycle, KK for the youth, and also I give the widows money to start small businesses, and also the other areas I'm empowering people to make sure my community youth and widows have something to count on to helping themselves. Then in terms of medical, I plan to have a little like a health center in my village. I'm planning to build that in future. That's my goal. I haven't get there yet. That's one of the reasons why I'm praying to God to help me to continue working hard. In that way, I can do that for them and build a library also. Because education is very important. These are part of the things I plan to do for my people.
Are you thinking towards other investment in Nigeria? Because the diaspora has the resources, the diaspora has the global connection, the diaspora has the skills. So are there other areas you're thinking of investing back home in Nigeria?
Right now, I'm focusing on the charity that I'm doing with my foundation.
I'm overwhelmed. They actually came to me surprise. That she has empowered, but I got to know that these are people that really need it. And I pray that a day like this will come and they will come to me. That will also partake in this kind gesture of hers. And today, I'm happy that she remembered.
I'm here for Nelly Miniature Kempe Foundation. I'm a beneficiary of this wonderful foundation. I've gotten a grant of 100,000 naira to support my business. To bless her, live a long life and prosperity.
Thank you for always remembering home. Now to our diasporan of the moment.
Our diaspora of the moment is Adeoye Oye Owolawa. Owolawa is a Nigerian-American politician, pharmacist, and a member of the Democratic Party. Owolawa was born in Nigeria to a father from Kwara State and a mother from Osun State. He is the grandson of Phoebe C. Ajayi Obe, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Owolawa was raised in Boston, where he attended Boston Latin School and graduated in 2008. In 2014, he earned a doctorate in pharmacy from Northeastern University and moved to Washington to practice pharmacy. In November 2020, he was elected as the shadow representative of the United States House of Representatives from the District of Columbia. As a shadow congressperson, Owolawa is tasked with lobbying for DC statehood, the unpaid position authorized by DC voters in 1982 but never approved by Congress. Although mistakenly described in Nigerian media as the first Nigerian American to be elected to the United States Congress, Owolawa is not a member of Congress. In 2014, he started work as a pharmacist. In 2018, he was elected a DC Advisory Neighborhood Commission for Ward 8, District 8E. Congratulations, Owolawa. We celebrate you as our diaspora of the moment.
Thank you for staying all through the program. We hope it's been worth your while. And in case you have anything to share with us, please do not hesitate to do so as we expect feedback on our show. Remember, you can reach us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook at Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. On Instagram at NIDCOM_gov. On our YouTube page at NIDCOM_gov. And on our website at www.nidcom.gov.ng. You can also join us on DSTV at NTA Network and NTA International on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m., on NTA International on Friday at 3:30 a.m., on NTA International on Saturday at 11 a.m., and on NTA News 24 on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. And you can join us on WAP TV on Thursdays at 9 a.m., and on WTV on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. And you can join us on Ben TV London at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. I remain your host, Koinsola Adetumbi. See you next time.
Naysayers have recently ramped up their criticism of the Buhari administration for borrowing. These critics are very insincere. We do not borrow for recurrent expenditure, neither do we borrow to pay salaries. We are borrowing to build world-class infrastructure that will benefit generations of Nigerians. And we have a lot to show for the loans we have taken. Today, the standard gauge rail line between Lagos and Ibadan are running very well. Today, we have new airport terminals in Abuja, in Kano, in Lagos and Port Harcourt. Today, the Itakpe-Warri rail line that was abandoned for decades is now running. Today, we have well over 13,000 kilometers of federal roads under repair, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. There's a road project in every state today. Today, we have started the countdown to when the second Niger Bridge, which successive administrations have built only on paper, will be completed. The list of projects we're handling with the loans we obtained is long.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative, and interactive on national issues, accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Poverty has a financial index, so it should be fought also with a financial weapon. Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
Latest entrance, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government.
Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Ifoma Orjington. Remember, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Senate seeking the confirmation of 7 ministerial nominees. The nominees are to replace those that stepped down in pursuit of their political ambitions. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports.
Sequel to the resignation of some cabinet members in May, President Muhammadu Buhari promised to fill in the vacancies on time. Less than 2 months, the president has forwarded names of those he believes are capable of filling these ministerial positions. President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, read the executive communication.
Henry Ikechukwu Iko, Abia State. Umana Okon Umana, Akwa Ibom State. 3. Ekuman Kama Joseph Nkama, Ebonyi State. 4. Goodluck Nana Opia, Imo State. 5. Umar Ibrahim Eliakub, Kano State. 6. Ademola Adewole Adegorie, Ondo State. And 7. Odum Udi, River State. Copies of the curriculum vitae are attached herewith. It is my hope that this exercise will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the distinguished members of the Senate.
Senate passed bills establishing federal medical centers in Oshobo, Ijebu-Ode, Gada and Onitsha, while the Police Pension Board establishment bill, sponsored by Senator Elisha Abu Ishaku, passed second reading.
The broad objective of this bill, therefore, Mr. President, is to bring equality, equity, and justice in the payment of pensions between the police and our sister agencies.
Senators Sadiq Umar and Aliu Sabi Abdullahi drew the attention of the Senate to what they described as worsening security situation in Kenji Lake National Park. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has appointed Minority Chief Whip Senator Philip Aduda as Minority Leader of the Senate. He replaces Senator Enyinaya Abaribe, who defected to Abga. Senator Chukwuka Otazi is to take over from Aduda as Minority Chief Whip. 3 senators defected to other political parties: Ahmed Babakaita, Katsina North, from the All Progressives Congress to the People's Democratic Party, PDP; Lawal Yahaya Gumau, Bauchi South from the APC to NNPP, while Francis Alimihena, Edo North, from the APC to the PDP. With this, Senate is now made up of 66 APC members, PDP 39, NNPP 2, YPP 1, ABGA 1. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTN News.
In the meantime, the Buhari Media Organization has described the just concluded Ekiti governorship election as yet another proof of President Muhammadu Buhari's determination to leave a legacy of a successful electoral process. In a statement signed by its chairman, Niyi Akinsiju, the BMO said the president's disposition was instrumental to the success of the election. BMO particularly find it interesting that the logistics for the election arrived early and the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS was largely hitch-free, to the extent that Yaga Africa, a notable civil society group, rated INEC highly. The group also hails the maturity of the PDP candidate Olabisi Kolawole for accepting that he was truly defeated in the election. BMO urged Nigerians to continue to trust in the ability of President Buhari to clean up the electoral process, in line with his admonition that elections should not be seen as a do-or-die affair. And meanwhile, the Buhari campaign organization says the victory of APC in the coming presidential election is a critical project that requires the support of every Nigerian, owing to the antecedents of its standard bearer, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The organization emphasizes that as a first step, it is donating all its structures and changing its name in favor of the candidates. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
Buhari campaign organization came to limelight in 2014 with the mandate of voting the then ruling PDP out of power, which was actualized and sustained in 2 election cycles. Now, the organization says since the incumbent president's name won't be appearing on 2023 ballot, the organization will now stand on the mandate of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for continuity.
If anything, a B stands for Bola, can stand for Bola. Bola campaign organization, that's a BCO.
After polling units, we have members of Buhari campaign organization, which will completely transform to Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaign organization.
It is surprising to see how people are now bringing religion into our political system. In the past republic, that nobody cared about that.
We are all going to give him the needed support. Everybody is going to support him. And he's going to make it to Aso Villa.
After today, we are going to do the same thing for Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The political movement is appealing to Nigerians to rally around the APC presidential standard bearer for consolidation and progress. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
In the meantime, the presidential media team, in collaboration with national and international consultants and coordinator of 7th anniversary of the Buhari administration, Ata Ikede, will be unveiling President Buhari's legacy projects in a series of online publications. In a statement, the team explained that the aim of the awareness is to inform, educate, engage and empower Nigerians to the notable achievements and patriotic vision of the president for the country. The first component of this social media-driven project will be the launch of Buhari's government has zero projects with the hashtag Buhari's government Zero projects, showcasing 1,321 underreported, completed and ongoing infrastructural projects of this administration across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, including the 774 local government areas and 8,809 wards. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed increased efforts, kinetic and non-kinetic, to safely rescue the 51 or more kidnapped railway passengers still in custody and bring the case to a closure. In a statement, the presidency disclosed that the kidnappers made a demand for the release of their children, and upon the settlement of that issue, they let go 11 of the victims, even though more were expected. The statement added that the government is not leaving any stone unturned in the efforts to bring all of the hostages back. The defense, security and intelligence agencies have given assurances to intensify operational engagement geared towards securing the rescue of all hostages and restoring peace to all parts of the country. Government is also mindful of efforts of some patriotic and influential persons and institutions that are helping in securing the safe release of the hostages. The statement further maintained that President Buhari welcomes the return of the recently released train passengers back to their families and loved ones, while expressing commitment to the families of those still in captivity, assuring that there will be no let-up until they are reunited with their families in the shortest time possible. The House of Representatives has expressed concern over poor quality of some health and hygiene-related products used in homes, offices, hospitals and other public places. It therefore resolved to invite the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to justify the presence of such products in the market. In a motion, Representative Segios Ogun pointed out that there are several television advertisements of disinfectants which mislead unsuspecting members of the public. The House noted that the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission is empowered by law to carry out investigation considered necessary to protect consumers of products. The House Committee on Commerce is to engage the Commission on the issue. Now, Now, key players in the extractive industry from 3 African countries are in Abuja deliberating on issues of contract transparency, extractive resources, benefit sharing, and energy transition in West Africa. Benny Adams reports that the dialogue is organized by Nigeria Extractive Industries and Transparency Initiative in partnership with Space for Change.
They are stakeholders in the oil, gas, and solid minerals sector. Some are policy makers, companies, regulators, host communities, and civil society. Their mission is fourfold. It is to review beneficial ownership and assess the progress made in the sub-region to implement contract transparency, energy transition, as well as inclusion of host communities in these processes.
How information and data from our reports can galvanize revenue generation, support national planning, and reduce poverty. The other issue is how implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act that has just been passed into law will be effectively deployed.
With the onerous task of making natural resources benefits work for all, they agree to identifying best and inclusive practices for improving the resilience of national economies in the face of increasing commodity price volatility around the world, while preparing for the transition to a low-carbon future.
Revenue from the solid mineral sector to the exploration account rose by 54% in 2020, and it is in the rise to a reported total of 128 billion naira compared to 75 billion naira recorded in 2019.
We have understood that disclosing contracts supports open, fact-based dialogue that can help build trust, reduce conflict, and reinforce a company's social life.
Formula: when and how these benefits are shared, sanctions for infractions, and redress mechanisms are the many questions. NTA News.
Now, Adiola will bring us situation report on long queues at filling stations in Lagos. It's over to you, Adiola.
Thank you, Ifoma. Bemoaning the challenge of having to wait on the queues for hours, situation and
fuel queues, which are now back and stretching beyond their usual mark at many fuel stations. The harder it becomes to get the product, the longer the queues into streets, corners, and bus stops, and in some cases, double lanes, thereby resulting in gridlock on major roads in the metropolis. Motorists attribute the scarcity to non-availability of diesel to enable marketers lift the products. NTA News observed that despite the queues, the product is available in some filling stations at the official pump price of 165 naira per litre. While some stations sell the product at ease, others are at standstill.
As early as 6:30 a.m. I had been here.
Okay.
And as you can see, we are pushing.
I've been here since 8 o'clock. Look at the time now, 10:06. And I didn't know the time that it will come to my turn. You can even get there and they will tell you that there's no more fuel.
I just pray that they don't stop selling. By the time I will be getting replaced. So I just pray I get it for now, because my boss is even ready for me to go out to work.
As the unpalatable situation bites harder, causing Lagosians man-hour loss and increase in transportation fare, residents appealed that all concerned authorities take urgent steps in addressing the root cause of the problem.
I'm here almost 20 minutes now without seeing vehicle. So we're still waiting for the vehicle and see the way things go. The road is very congested and everywhere was very rapid.
The current situation is coming about 4 months after importation of contaminated products into the country disrupted supply of petrol for about 2 weeks in February this year. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
The federal government is on the verge of removing the impediment that has stalled the commencement of freight services on the standard gauge of the Lagos-Ibadan rail line. Apart from ensuring that the customs building hindering the connection of trucks to terminals within the Apapa port is removed, a deadline of July has been fixed for freight service to commence. Michael Olaleye has the details.
Getting the rail tracks to transverse the major terminals in Apapa, especially beyond this point at APMT, has been so challenging. For more than 2 years, this building, which houses the customs scanning equipment, has been a contributor to this challenge. The development is not just frustrating the contractor handling the project, who has been so desirous of completing works around the axis, but stalling the commencement of freight services on the standard gauge. The Minister of State for Transportation, Bimisola Saraki, said, considering the huge relief that cargo evacuation and delivery through rail will bring to the Apapa corridor, the process of removing the structure must be hastened under safe procedures.
It's been agreed that the building is going to be moved, it's going to be demolished. It's just minor issues of having because of the fact there's some radioactive, because it's a scanner, we just have to ensure that number one, it's done safely and it's done by the right people to come and dismantle and decommission the scanners to ensure that it's safe, and then the building itself comes down. So by the end of this month, which is another 2 weeks maximum, that this track will be operational whilst we try and solve this other issue. Even though the building looks big, it's actually a minor issue. By the time the Federal Ministry of Transport, MPA and Customs sit together to discuss, I'm sure we'll resolve it.
The optimism here going forward is that the Minister's inspection will yield expected results as the date for the commencement of freight services draws closer. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
Marcos report completes a contribution from Lagos, but do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/alllive and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Nationwide returns with Ifoma in Abuja after this break. To stay with us.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the states.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
It's life. Once you lose hope, you lose life. Once people get lifted to a certain level, they start feeling godlike.
What would you attribute this backwardness in education to in the North to date?
What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong.
The program is reflection.
Do you run a breast or cervical cancer service? Are you a private or public laboratory, clinic or hospital that offer any of breast imaging, cervical cancer screening, HPV vaccination, or other breast or cervical cancer services? Is your service a primary, secondary, or tertiary center located in any part of Nigeria, no matter how remotely located it is? If yes to any of these questions, then subscribe to the OCI Foundation's Savvy Breast app and become accessible and visible to millions of Nigerians. It is all for free. To subscribe, just type the Savvy Breast application form on Google or go to the OCI Foundation's page on www.ocifoundation.org and search for Savvy Breast application form. Complete the form and submit. And let millions of Nigerians patronize you, all for free. Become part of the OCI Foundation's quest to tackle breast and cervical cancers in Nigeria. And join us to rise by lifting off.
Imagine any society without laws. Imagine piles of laws without the courts to interpret them. Imagine lots of interpretation without a medium to bring them to your doorsteps. The scale of the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority helps to fill the gaps and turns law and justice into a tangible instrument for national development. That is the scale, and it is balance.
Welcome back. The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, has been advised to address public perception that the new code of conduct being proposed for online platforms will infringe on their rights to free speech. Discussing the new regulation for online platforms on NTA Good Morning Nigeria, NITDA explained that it is to sanitize the use of digital space. Ekemini Williams has the details.
The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, recently released draft regulations for internet platforms in Nigeria, which generated some reactions from the public. NITDA head of legal and board matters explained that the agency is acting on public interest to ensure more responsible use of technology.
We're also talking about misinformation and disinformation. These platforms should not be used as instruments to spread disinformation and misinformation.
However, experts in the sector are of the opinion that this objective will achieve better results if priority is accorded to growing knowledge and skills on the digital space to enhance local capacity to regulate the sector.
Because it's what you have control, what you have physical control, you can control. So these tech giants, if for instance, Google is having its servers in this Nigeria, do you understand? We have to kind of exercise a lot of powers onto it because he knows that his business is at stake. But if Google is not having his servers here, his servers is in South Africa or is in the UK, how do you exercise this power you are talking about?
It's not that they are just sitting in the US and dictating what is going on here. We have Google Nigeria, we have Microsoft Nigeria. All these big techs have Nigerian reps. And so we are saying that, okay, if you're an interactive service provider, make sure you have a Nigerian representative.
NITDA was urged to engage the public more to create better understanding of the intent and workings of the new regulation against the background of seeming distrust in this intervention.
Go the extra mile in carrying every stakeholder along, and they should not appear as if they are trying to, muzzle the media, and a digital space.
The regulators say more consultations will be undertaken. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has taken its sensitization campaign on the need to protect telecommunications infrastructure to the grassroots, even as federal government's drive to increase broadband penetration gains momentum. NCC team was at Diko Sabun Wuse in Niger State to urge the natives to see those installations as tools that enable quality delivery of telecom services in their area.
Regrettably, however, vandalism of telecom infrastructure has continued to be a major challenge in the telecom industry. It is therefore imperative for the public to regard telecom infrastructure as collectively owned infrastructure that are crucial and essential for the provision of efficient and acceptable telecom services, and therefore need to be keenly protected.
They were advised not to be involved in multiple SIM registration and report perpetrators, as it is considered a crime. The Commission on its part is collaborating with relevant agencies to ensure adequate security for telecom facilities and has adopted the idea of involving vigilante in the process. And it's time to link up with Nana in our Sokoto Network Center for more on Nationwide. Hello, Nana. We're sorry about that. We seem to be having a problem linking up with our Sokoto Network Center. Now, the only police basic children's school that caters for about 5,000 police personnel at the Day Barracks has been inaugurated by the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, in Abuja. Francis Fom reports.
Before now, the Police Basic School was temporarily at the Power Skills Acquisition Center within the barracks. As part of efforts towards meeting the education needs of officers and men of the force, IGP Usman Alkali Baba intervened and within 4 months constructed 16 classroom, computer lab, sick bay, library, staff room and offices.
At time, thank you for making this beautiful school for us. All of us, we are happy for everything you have done for in this school.
Our children will no more suffer as used in the small place where they were managing before. But now, as you can see, all the day women, all our children, we are very happy.
The unit is entirely grateful to you, sir, for your support and prompt approval of our request for intervention, which has transformed police schools to modern schools nationwide.
For the IGP Usman Alkali Baba and wife, the force will continue to do more in uplifting the plight of personnel.
I want you to know, right in you today, that a child has the right to be educated, whether poor, rich, or whatever.
This edifice is going to serve humanity, is going to serve everybody. Why I said so, it can benefit the children of police officers and even that of civilians.
With the construction of this edifice, the force education is set out for the best. Francis from NTA News.
An attendant of a prominent filling station in Mina metropolis has been allegedly shot dead by an officer of the 013 Quick Response Nigerian Air Force. Musa Mikel, who has an eyewitness account, reports that the shooting of the fuel attendant followed an argument between the duo.
Just like every other day, when Yusuf Umar came out to seek for livelihood, not knowing he will meet his death. The incident that led to his death, as narrated by the manager of the station, occurred when some officers of 013 Quick Response Force came to refuel their vehicle at a popular outlet in the heart of Mina, when an argument ensued between the manager of the fuel station and the officers.
I saw 3 without uniform. One is trying to cut his nose. And I approached them before approaching the healers to tell them that please, it's not allowed to cut finger within our pump proximity. Do you know who we are? I said, me, I don't want to know who you are. Before you realize, I just had a slap that why will I answer their boss like this? My staff now rush them. Some people with stick. That is when I had a gunshot twice. My blood brother.
We're already on top of the game. My intelligence officer is already investigating, and we will ensure that once we conclude our investigation, the findings, we will let the public know. I've also briefed my headquarters.
In the meantime, Niger State Police Command confirmed the situation and called on the public not to panic in Mina. Musa Mikael, NTA News.
Meanwhile, wife of Ondo State Governor, Mrs. Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, is leading a coalition of women groups on gender justice and equality in Nigeria to demand urgent justice for the victims of the recent Owo church gun attack by bringing the perpetrators to book. The women had a peaceful march to the governor's office where they met with Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu before proceeding to Owo. Tony Batire reports.
The women groups took their peaceful protest to some parts of Akure to demand justice for the victims of the attack. At the office of Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, the women said the rising cases of insecurity is of major concern.
We have chosen this way to express our grief, to stay a sense of huge personal loss.
The overkilling is a very dangerous signal to how unsafe anybody can be now in Nigeria and that's anywhere. We are tired.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu assured the groups that nothing will be spared to ensure the culprits are brought to book.
We have done proper restructuring, and we have a state police populated by women who will defend ourselves.
The groups also paid a condolence visit to the Olowo of Owo. The group's last port of call was the Federal Medical Center Owo, where the injured victims are receiving treatment. From
We now join our Enugu Network Center for more.
Joining us here in Enugu, the recent surge of eligible voters at various centers for the continuous voter registration exercise in some parts of Enugu is overwhelming. And while the Independent National Electoral Commission says it has deployed more personnel and materials to contain the increasing number of registrants, the issue of double registration is still of great concern to the Commission. Chinenwe reports.
It is a beehive at the Michael Opera Square, Enugu, one of the centers for the continuous voter registration, and this has been the situation here over the past few weeks. This exercise commenced on the 28th of June 2021, and one wonders why there is this large turnout of registrants at various centers, especially youths between the ages of 18 and 34.
This exercise today is the basic thing that every young person or every well-meaning Nigeria should do. Collecting and having your PVC, which is your license to voting whoever you want to vote for. Let us get this thing. INEC has assured us that the new IVET they are using, that it's hard for them to rig elections.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is worried about the issue of double registration it has witnessed recently.
From the first week of June 2022, the CBR point in Enugu started recording huge turnout of fresh registrants and registered voters. Too many people are coming to register again.
With the overwhelming number of registrants, INEC also says it has deployed more personnel and materials to various centers to ensure that all eligible Nigerians are able to register to exercise their right to vote in the 2023 general elections. In Enugu, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
The Archbishop Enugu Ecclesiastical Province and Bishop of Enugu Diocese, Most Reverend Emmanuel Chukuma, has urged all eligible voters to obtain their permanent voters card, identifying it as a power to stem the rising tide of insecurity, corruption, and other vices. Chika Ugu reports that he was speaking during a pre-Senate press briefing.
The Anglican Archbishop hinted that the hungry world has led to anger, irresponsibility, insecurity, corruption, among many other crimes ravaging the country. He noted that it is indeed time for all religions to join hands and fight insurgency and banditry, while government should rise up and deal decisively with the numerous challenges facing the country, ranging from economic instability, decaying education and health sectors. While commending President Muhammad Buhari for signing the Electoral Act into law, the Archbishop urged youths to rise up and vote for positive change that will foster unity and peace in the country.
Talking about fairness, equity and justice, INEC should be ready to play the role of an unbiased umpire. The security officials should also begin now to strategize. No Nigerian citizen should lose his life or her life because of any political ambition.
Archbishop Emmanuel Chukwuma also regretted the recent killings of Christians and kidnapping of religious leaders. In Enugu, Chika Ubu, NTA News.
Remember, you can follow this news broadcast live on our social media handle. Twitter is at NTA News Now. Our Facebook page is at NTA Network News. And our YouTube channel is at NTA Live. We will take another break here. Nationwide, we continue with Muhammad Ibrahim in Maduguri after this break.
Engage your team this summer at Digitest 2022, an annual ICT creative camp and competition for young minds of ages 8 to 18, with the theme Connecting Technology, Energy and Climate. Date Saturday, August 13 to Sunday, August 21st, 2022. Venue, Top Faith International Secondary School, Nkpatak, Akwa Ibom State. For registration, visit www.digitalpairs.org. For information and inquiries, call 0807-782-3307 or 0807-782-3308. For more updates, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and link it at Digital Pairs. Digitest is brought to you by Digital Pairs International in collaboration with the Akwa Ibom State Government.
Harmony of biodiversity destroyed, birthing climate crisis and crime phases.
Dicey situation indeed, yet we carry on like a bull in a china shop.
On environment matters, we take the bull by the horns, comb the nooks and cranny of Nigeria.
Asking tough questions,
examining challenges and opportunities,
giving human face to the science, facts, faiths, and global agreements. It's a call for action. Don't miss it.
Join award-winning environmental journalist Jennifer Igwe and other NTA Eco reporters for Environment Matters.
In line with the tenets of Sustainable Development Goals, Borno State Government is gearing efforts towards enhancing public financial management. The need for such reforms in the financial system was the product of a 4-week training in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, for public sector financial experts in partnership with the University of Maiduguri sponsored by the European Union and World Bank. Morukirawa reports.
Public financial management is an integral part of economic development that enhances nations' financial system for sustainable development. This 4 weeks training on public financial management for staff of Ministry of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, organized by Borno State Government in collaboration with University of Maiduguri Consultancy Services Limited and sponsored by European Union through the World Bank, is a deliberate effort to enhance capacity of financial experts for improved service delivery.
I believe this training will enhance our professionalism in the discharge of our responsibility in various fields of our work.
The advanced accounting training, which focused on how to ensure probity and eliminate bottlenecks in financial management, also had a rigorous technical session where experience was shared for better performance. The representative of Borno State Governor, the Secretary to the State Government, Usman Jiddashua, and Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Aliyu Shugaba, called on the participants to step down the training to others.
It is evident that the World Bank, European Union, and other donor organizations have greatly keyed in to the policy thrust of this administration.
The training is also expected to hasten Borno State government's effort in reforming the public financial sector in the state. In Maiduguri, Umaru Kirawa, NTA News.
In another development, reviving is to boost food sufficiency and security is key in the post-insurgency recovery agenda of Borno State government. With the commencement of the rain season, in addition to improvement in security situation, farming activities have picked up in earnest in most resettled and returnee communities. Yagun Subukar reports.
Rainy season in Borno State usually commences in the month of June, prompting farmers to engage in clearance, cultivation and planting of their crops so as to catch the season early. Even though farming activities were halted for years due to insurgency in many areas, a development that brought about hike in prices of food items affecting the common man, all efforts are geared towards back to the farm. Improvement in the security situation has given farmers hope to return to their farmlands in addition to support by Borno State government.
Sojojin gaskiya sun ba mu lokaci kuma muna jin daɗi akan haka. A ba wani fargaba. Alhamdulillah yanzu an samu lafiya.
To encourage resettled communities pick up the pieces of their lives, already the Zulum administration has flagged off leasing of tractors in most local government councils where farmers were advised to make good use of it to boost sufficiency in the state.
Reba tractor alama tractor gozu lerde mamuriya da kulzina sha tayya sha tractor din intuluyan home lerde ndey namzina nan kabiro sha jeriyan.
Farmers on the other hand say they are optimistic that the early rains will usher in good yield and bumper harvest with the support they are getting from government. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Those are the stories from this end. Nationwide will continue in Abuja with Ifoma.
Thank you very much. Worried by the prevalence of sickle cell anemia disease in Yobe, the state government is collaborating with stakeholders to provide free healthcare services to more than 700 patients under its equity fund in the state's contributory healthcare management agency. Yunusa Suleiman completes the report.
Tests have shown that Borno and Yobe states have the largest burden of sickle cell trait in Nigeria, with prevalence of 27.9% and 32.6% respectively. To reverse the trend, Yobe State Government, through the State Contributory Healthcare Management Agency Equity Fund, is strategizing to provide free healthcare services to more than 700 sickle cell patients across the state in order to reduce the burden of treatment on parents.
I want to assure you, you could be a millionaire, but when you have one single case of sickle cell disease in your family, the entire family are in trouble.
30-year-old Idris Mohammed Kolomi, a sickle cell anemia patient and a holder of higher national diploma. Mr. Mohammed says he never expects to survive this long to tell his own story, and so was the belief of his parents and people around him. Stakeholders in the healthcare sector are advocating for enhanced awareness campaign on the need for people to embrace genotype tests before marriage to stop the spread of sickle cell disease in the state. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Let's now rejoin Sokoto, and Nana is still standing by. Hello, Nana, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ifoma. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here in Sokoto. Sokoto State pilgrims have been tasked to obey the laws of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol gave the charge while bidding farewell to the pilgrims at the Hajj transit camp. Sheikh Muhammad Datti has more.
The first flight had on board 500 pilgrims from Gada, Yabo, and Wurno local government areas of Sokoto State. Addressing the pilgrims, Governor Amin Waziri Tambol charged them to obey and respect the laws of Saudi Arabia. Governor Tambol said the government has done the needful to ensure proper take-off. Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Saad Abubakar said with the 2023 election fast approaching, there is the need for the pilgrims to pray for peaceful conduct of the elections. He said though the COVID-19 pandemic in the last 2 years has disrupted Hajj exercise, this year God has made it possible for Muslims to observe one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The State Amirul Hajj and Speaker Sokoto Halaba Assembly Aminu Muhammad Achida and State Chairman Pilgrims Welfare Agency Mukhtar Bello Muguna appealed to the pilgrims to understand that they are going to the Holy Land to seek Allah's mercy and forgiveness. The pilgrims were taken through different screenings before their takeoff to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Second flight of Sokoto pilgrims left Sultan Abubakar III International Airport this morning. The pilgrims were from Isa, Sabon Gudu, Silame, and Lela Abinji local government areas. Some of the pilgrims from Isa local government, their relatives accompanying them to Sokoto Hajj camp, and the security men escorting them were, however, momentarily held up by suspected bandits operating on the corridor linking the eastern part of the state. However, a statement issued by the State Commissioner for Information, Isa Bajini Galadenti, confirmed that the pilgrims were rescued. It says that the contingent have been received by the government officials and have been processed for their journey to the Holy Land. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
Worried by the lingering insecurity in the Northwest, the United States Institute of Peace and the Center for Peace Usman Danfodio University Sokoto have engaged stakeholders at a one-day workshop on peace building in the Northwest region. Sheikh Muhammad Datti again reports.
The gathering has, amongst other objectives, engaging state-level actors on the viability and feasibility of institutionalizing mechanisms for peace building, drawing on lessons from Plateau and Kaduna states. It is also aimed at putting stake actors on the possibility of putting in place a network of community-based peace actors that can work with state governments in finding solutions to conflicts across the states. Modalities that can enhance cooperation between the state-level actors and local peace networks in addressing ongoing conflict challenges are expected to form part of deliberations. Ambassador Zongo Abdu is the country manager, United States Institute of Peace.
It's more expensive to mitigate conflict than when you invest in peace. When you invest in peace, you address the drivers of conflict. And you address the drivers of conflict by good governance, by ensuring fairness, by ensuring justice, by providing the basic needs of the citizen.
General Martin Luther Agwai, retired, is from Nigerian Working Group on Peace Building and Governance. General Agwai believes that rubbing minds and dialogue can change the negative perception on current security challenges in the Northwest.
We have to involve the people in the rural area. We have to accept that security is everybody's problem.
Vice Chancellor Usman Danfodio University Sokoto described the gathering as timely, considering the lingering security challenges in the Northwest region. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
Well, don't forget you can follow this news broadcast and on nta.ng/live and other social media handles displayed on your screen. That's it for us here in Sokoto. Nationwide continues with Ifoma in Abuja.
Thank you, Nana. Now, more youths in Bauchi State are gradually being trained and empowered by the Northeast Development Commission. Mahmoud Mohammed reports that so far the commission has trained 580 youths in ICT-related vocations.
This is the graduation ceremony of 200 ICT trainees by the Northeast Development Commission in Bauchi State. It is a program designed to impact relevant skills and knowledge to the youths and become self-reliant.
That, for one, will provide peace because those people who are idle will not be engaged and they'll be self-employed and even employ some other people. That will create peace on one side.
Thereafter, Mohammed Gwani presented 20 cartons of assorted drugs to Bauchi State Primary Healthcare Development Agency. At Dungal, it is work in progress. Here, the Commission is constructing 500 mass housing units. Therefore, the Managing Director, Mohammed Gwani, is here for inspection. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Muhammad, NTA News.
With the global community adopting emerging technologies to enhance service delivery across all sectors, it has become important for Nigeria and indeed Africa to adopt these technologies to bridge the gap in the education sector. Kalistos Juma Executive Discuss and establishment of Auda Nepad is championing this course, and they are holding a 4-day capacity strengthening engagement in Abuja with policy makers in education and science, technology and innovation sectors. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
The COVID-19 era was an eye-opener for Nigeria on the technology gap that exists in the education sector. At the losing end were mostly those in the rural areas who had no access to technology and hence no education throughout the restriction period. Kalistos Juma Executive Dialogue is bringing together policymakers from across the continent to find ways of harnessing emerging technologies to ensure Africa is not left behind.
What we want to do is, where you don't have a science teacher or a mathematics teacher in a particular school, we have recorded lessons based on the curriculum and we send to that place. So the school head can easily play the videos.
We should build local content and we should believe in ourselves. We should begin to build the required capacity, spend on research and development.
In selecting participants for this meeting, we make sure that everyone is in a position of influence to be able to share the knowledge and best practices when we go out.
Hopefully, deliberations arising from this meeting will help in formulating better policies that will enhance the economy. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
Next is sports updates with Olumide Eguntola.
Nighttime African champions Nigeria Super Falcons are scheduled to take on 2011 FIFA Women's World Cup winners Japan in an international friendly match on the 6th of October 2022 at the Novio Stadium. The Falcons are presently in Abuja camp ahead of 2022 African Cup of Nations slated for July in Morocco. In another news, World Football Governing Body FIFA and World Athletics said they are reviewing their transgender eligibility policies after swimming passed new rules that stop transgender participation in women's events. The Swimming's World Governing Body, FINA, voted to stop the participation of transgender athletes in elite women's competition. The new policy states that male to female transgender swimmers are eligible to compete in women's competition only if they can establish to FINA's comfortable satisfaction that they have not experienced any part of male puberty beyond stage 2 or before age 12. In tennis, Serena Williams is set to return to competitive play after a year out of tennis when she plays on Tuesday at the Eastbourne doubles with 23 singles and 14 women's doubles titles at the Grand Slam event. Serena has not competed since she was injured at Wimbledon last year. With sports update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide for today. We thank you for watching, and do remember to join the NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. Bye for now.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative, and interactive on national issues, accommodating